Right, so today is another long overdue stick review video, and it's going to be talking about the Paradise Arcade Shop's MPress Hitbox. But before we do that, we're going to talk about merchandise. There is a whole lot of stuff, and by the time this comes out, it should be the last day that you have to pick up something from the store at a discount. And yeah, so go ahead and choose whatever you like on there. If you want any sales, do support the channel and would be greatly appreciated. So in EVO 2019, I actually went to Paradise Arcade Shop's booth and I got to try out the prototype that they had there, and it was a really cool prototype. It had like this really cool flamed maple like wood back instead of the acrylic back panel that it has on the full version that's been released. And just so you guys know that this is the first run of the MPresses, I got this one when they first opened up pre-orders, the very first one, so I don't have any basis for if they've changed anything since then. But I did really like it when I played it at EVO, and as soon as the pre-orders opened up, I of course pre-ordered one, and it came in, I think end of November. It was like end of November. I got it sometime at the end of last year, and it's been sitting around not really getting used until recently, now that I'm starting to do videos again. So the thing that I really like about this is that it's a hitbox, firstly, and you can obviously tell it is. It's also very lightweight, very small, and it's got a bunch of cool features on it, and I think I should just go through it, right? So everything is on a PCB. I got the one that was white. When I first opened it up, my friend said that it looked like the R2D. It was like I got an R2D2 build, to which I proceeded to just kill him. But then I realized that he was right, so I unkilled him, and yeah, this is just going to be called the R2D2 MPress. I mean, I as soon as he said that, I hated it because it was right. So one of the things that you can do on Paradise Arcade Shop's website is you can actually pretty much fully customize it. I went and looked at it recently, and now they actually have an LED board, LEDs that you can install behind each of the buttons, which is really cool considering that they have a really good LED system. Their Kaimana stuff is actually really cool. I never got a chance to buy one and try it out, but I do have an LED board for my Victrix. That one was really cool. As you guys have seen, I've done a video on that. But you can customize it with whatever cherry switches you want. These ones are cherry MX greens. I haven't opened it up yet to verify, but I do remember when I did order it that it was cherry MX greens, because I remember trying them out at EVO, but they actually were out of stock of those at the time, which is why my Victrix has cherry MX reds. But some of the other highlights of this is that it's a PCB that's sandwiched between two acrylic panels, and these are some very sturdy panels. The guy ran over it with a car, and this didn't break, so it's very durable. It's got a Brook UFB, which is also really, really nice, and then you can actually see on this PCB all the traces that go to each individual button that go back to the Brook UFB. It's got all the buttons up here that you need: your start, select, touchpad, home button, L3, R3, and then let's see, I'm just gonna go through. One of the bigger nice things that it has is that it uses a USB-C connector, which honestly should be a standard at this point, but I am gonna get to some other things that I don't like. This has a tournament mode switch, so you can actually disable this top row with this switch that's up here, which is really nice. So you can turn it on or off. And yeah, no, it's held together by some Torx or TX 10, I believe they are. I think it's Torx, whatever it's called, TR10 or T10 screws. Basically on the iFixit kit, just look for the T10 screws if you do. I will show a close-up of taking this apart after we cut. But I want to talk about some of the things that are, I mean, this thing's really good. I like it. For something that has an acrylic back, it doesn't actually slide around terribly much. I had it on this thing and it didn't really slide. I've had it on my lap. This thing doesn't really slide, but I do feel like I will be putting some sort of non-slip padding on the back, just because it's acrylic, and this kind of acrylic, it's glossy and shiny, so it's very easy to scratch. There are a few fine scratches on this thing, which I'll talk about in a second. The other thing is that instead of just being standard 24mm buttons, these are actually full 30mm plungers that are meant for a 30mm button. But because there is no outer, rim, there's no body of a button to go, for this thing to go in, it's held down by the acrylic plate as well as the button plate that's underneath this thing, which I will show you guys when I take it apart. So it's actually really interesting because it actually ends up being a lot smaller. The buttons are a lot closer together than I feel on a conventional hitbox. On your traditional hitbox, you have the 24mm with the plunger with the rim of the button, so you have the full 24mm button. Because this whole thing is the button, I feel that the buttons are able to be closer together. It just feels different, and it's actually pretty nice. For somebody with small hands, like I've always said, it's actually really nice to have everything super close together. And yeah, so that's all the positive things. It's a really good hitbox. So some of the things that I did have issue with, so I don't know if it's just if it was me or if it was other people who had this, but I did notice there was a couple of like on, I believe, this button right here, you can kind of feel there's some kind of scratches or some sort of grease or something that's on there that stained the button. There's also on the back some sticky residue. I think it's like grease or something like that, that it's really weird that it's there. And it's also, there's also some, like little scratches here and there, some fine scratches, which I feel could have been found during the during the assembly process, I should say. The other thing is that I don't really like how the USB-C isn't recessed very much. Again, this is being showed in the B-roll, is that when it's plugged in, there is a lot of excess plug from the USB-C that is visible. And I feel that that is just one accidental tug away from breaking from the board. And I don't know how it'll last over time, but the cable and the weight of gravity pulling down on that connector, I'm afraid might actually break at some point. The other thing is the cable was nice. It's a braided cable, it's a very long cable, and it's really nice, but there was a couple of issues that I had with it. For one, the cable at the USB-C connector, you can see the little, I don't know what you call them, but they fit together, so the metal piece wraps around the USB-C completely. That was a little bit open, was a little bit pried up on one side, so it's not really, I don't think it really would affect the performance of the USB-C cable. It's just a little thing that I noticed that you don't really see on normal cables. Like, it's just a little imperfection that I don't think should be there. The other thing that I noticed was that because this thing hadn't been played ever, and I was going to play it on VF5 Ultimate Showdown on the PS4, I don't know why I said it like that, I wanted to get it updated. It hadn't been updated ever. So I went and I grabbed the latest firmware for the Brook UFB, and when I tried to update it, it didn't work. The board, I don't know why I'm saying stuff weird, the board would light up, but for some reason, it wouldn't allow me to actually update the board. So I decided to say, screw it, if I can't update it, then maybe I can just deal with the timeout, the 8-minute timeout that PS4 has with sticks that aren't PS4 sticks. The problem was that even though it lit up, it wasn't registering as a controller. And I went, and luckily I have a spare because I have a Victrix, and Victrix also uses a USB-C connector. And when I plugged that in, suddenly it worked. I was able to play it on the PS4 with the 8-minute timeout issue, and then I decided to take it back over to to the PC and try to update the firmware. I did that, and lo and behold, I was able to update the firmware to the latest version, and I was able to test out the MPress. So I think even though it's been a long time, I really should have tested it as soon as I got it, but it seems like I got a faulty cable. I don't know if everybody's gotten a faulty cable or how many people have had a cable that doesn't work, or if something's just weird on my end, because I tried every combination of things I can think of to get it to work. I kept flipping between the on and off of this. I thought maybe the board might be messed up, but as soon as I plugged in the Victrix cable, it worked. So there's a couple of issues. I don't know if they've been alleviated in the newest version of the MPress. I imagine that they would have updated some things. Other than that, let's go ahead and I'll just unscrew it, open it up, then we'll show a gameplay demo, and then we'll come back here. So this is Editing Dan here during this whole tear apart or tear down of the MPress. So what I don't mention in the video, which I should mention here, is that when it comes to unscrewing the MPress screws, you'll see that I end up switching to a ratchet driver because these 3 screws in the middle were super hard for me to unscrew. I'm assuming that that grease might have been some sort of glue or something. And yeah, if you noticed, I tried to, and I could not pry it open with the iFixit kit. And that's most likely on me because my right hand is weaker than my left. I did have surgery back in 2017. So it is going to be the weaker. It's already not my dominant hand. But other than that, I was able to get it unscrewed with a ratchet screwdriver. So if you have one, you're going to need that. And the other thing that I should mention is when putting it back, be careful if you have one not to over tighten the screws. There is a shorter throw distance already on the MPress buttons. They're shorter by like, I think 0.6 of a millimeter. I forget the exact shorter throw distance that these buttons have compared to others. But what happens is that these things don't have a stop point. So it is very much possible for you to keep screwing and screwing and screwing down in the middle to where you shorten that throw distance, because the top acrylic panel actually is where the plungers latch onto, the little latches that would normally go inside of a button's body. Yeah, if you tighten those too much, you'll actually start pushing it down more, and I don't think it flexes the board or hurts it any, but that added pressure can actually start to crack this kind of acrylic if you start putting too much, if you start tightening and over-tightening it too much. You'll notice this on plexis as well on other fight sticks. So, when you're reassembling an MPress, should you get one and should you be disassembling it for artwork or whatnot, make sure that you keep tightening it until it starts to offer some resistance, and then go just a tiny bit more and you should be good. Make sure that all the tops of the screws are flush with the acrylic top, and you should be good to go. It's $225 US. It's great. I love the customizability that you get with the MPress. You can choose whatever MX switch you want. You can choose the colors of these keycaps. And I don't remember if it was in the original, but now looking at the page, you can actually individually customize each button's color. So you can just have a rainbow of colors on your MPress. And there's also multiple different PCB colors that you can choose from. There's white, black, red, and I think some other ones. Though the LED option is only available on the white ones. Again, I didn't get it with the LED option because that wasn't available to me at that point in time. So just so you know, these are the issues that I have with my MPress. I don't know if these are issues that still persist in the modern one, in the newest version or the newest pre-orders that they do, because they do them in batches. But for me, I think those are some changes that need to be addressed. There needs to be some sort of housing or something so it's recessed deeper. and so that the USB-C isn't sitting there and just starting to pull down over time. Because I feel that the longer that it sits there being pulled down, or if it slips off your lap or off a table or something and it lands that side down, it's going to break that connector. And you can tell because there is, and I showed it, there is a noticeable gap and there is some noticeable pull on when it's just sitting flat, like on my lap, there is some noticeable pull with the cable going down. So that will be an issue, I feel. Other than that, honestly, other than having some sort of, non-slip padding on the back, which I think should be on pretty much everything. That's a godsend when it comes to playing on your lap. Overall, it's good. I like it. It's pretty much priced about the same as a normal Hitbox. It's a little bit above $200, and I think it's fair considering how custom, like how enthusiast this is. So if you want to get one, I'll leave a link down below where you can get it. Again, I purchased mine. I didn't get sponsored at all by Paradise Arcade Shop. And yeah, if you really like this, then go ahead and, try one out yourself. But other than that, there is a giveaway still going on. That is for the Quanva Pearl. That was the last video that I did, the modded one that I did that's in its box over here. But you can go down to the Gleam.io one. That's until the end of the month. I'll be picking winners on the 1st of July. And there is also, what else is there? There's the merch store, if you want to pick something up there. And of course, there's a whole list of other things down in the description that has ways to support us. So if you like the video, you like it, dislike it, you know what to do. You can comment whatever you want to see in the future. And yeah, I'm Dan, this is HurtboxTV, and I will see you guys in the next video. Who knows what it'll be, but I'm sure I have some great ideas coming down in the future. So take care, everybody. Peace.